Welcome to Amy Learns to Cook. On the show today, we're going to make my famous Southwestern rice. Now, I make this rice all the time as a side dish to fajitas. I put it on tacos. I put it in burritos. It is very versatile and it is very, very good. So join me as we make Southwestern rice. Okay, so we are going to take a deep saute pan and we're going to put a couple tables of olive oil in this pan. And the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to saute up one large Spanish onion. And this onion smells so good. It's pretty much diced. And we're just going to cook this until this is translucent. Now, there's a lot of different ways to cook rice, and what we're using today is what they call the pilaf method. And a lot of us are used to just regular steamed rice. And this method differs a little bit because we're going to saute some onion and garlic first, and then we're going to saute the rice a little bit. It's going to give it a nutty flavor. And this is the same way you do a rice pilaf. It results in a really nice, flavorful rice, and we're going to be able to flavor this pretty much any way you would like, depending on your meal. Today we're doing Southwest style, but you really can flavor this rice any way you want, depending on your main course. So if you're cooking a roast chicken, you can do a garlic and herb rice. You can do mushrooms and spices. You can do whatever you want. As long as you get the basic technique down for doing a pilaf, pretty much the sky's the limit in terms of flavoring the rice. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to saute these until they are translucent. Next, we're going to put in some garlic. I have 3 cloves of minced garlic because I really like the flavor of garlic. You can use anywhere from 1 to however many you want, depending on how garlicky you like it. I'm using 3 cloves. You don't want to put the garlic in at the very beginning when you put the onions in, because garlic cooks pretty fast and it gets bitter and burnt really quick. So we're just going to put this in here and just saute it just for a minute or so. Okay, so we are going to be using a long grain rice, and what I have is 2 cups of long grain rice. Now, depending on how sticky you like your rice, you can use medium grain rice and it'll be a little sticky. The longer the grain rice, the more separate your grains are going to be. Shorter grain rice is more starchy and it'll result in a stickier texture. So it all depends on how you like. Sometimes I like to use stickier rice for this, and I use a medium grain. Today I'm just using a long grain. One thing that's interesting, me being from California, there's a lot of rice out there now, different varieties, and they all have a lot of different characteristics. One thing about regular long grain or medium grain rice is it's really, really bland. And one thing that's funny is being from California, I'm very used to using bland rice and flavoring it because I grew up eating Mexican food. So to me, rice is something that you build a flavor profile on the top of. It's plain and you build your flavors through your seasoning. There's a lot of rice from different areas of the world that is really aromatic. And that's because the rice stands on its own. So you don't really need a lot of seasoning. You can, but the rice is very, very strong. And being a new cook, I'm sort of getting used to a lot of rice that's very aromatic because I'm so used to plain rice that we season over the top. So, you know, it's been an interesting journey for me eating different kinds of rice, and I'm getting used to it and I'm beginning to like it. But at first it was really, you know, startling to me to eat this rice that was so fragrant. I wasn't used to that. So experiment with your rice, because all rice has different flavors and textures, and that's what's so great about rice. Okay, so we toasted up this rice. Only took a few minutes for that to happen. It's just nice and toasty. You don't want to burn it. And we're going to go ahead and put 4 cups of chicken broth. And this I made from Better Than Bouillon. It's basically a chicken base. And I really like it because it's really flavorful. So that's 4 cups of chicken broth. We're going to put in some tomato. This is 2 really large tomatoes. So if your tomatoes aren't too big, put 3. But that's 2 chopped tomatoes. Now we're going to put in a can of fire roasted chilies. And if you are a friend of mine on Facebook, you know how much I absolutely love fire roasted chilies. Once every year, a truck comes up to one of our local supermarkets from Hatch, New Mexico, and brings Hatch chilies up, and they roast them. And we always get a case, and we seed it, peel it, seed it, and chop it. And we put them in the freezer, and they are so good. This is a 7-ounce can of fire roasted green chili. Okay, so now we have our rice going, and now we're going to flavor it. You can flavor this with whatever kind of seasoning you really like. Chili powder, cumin, garlic powder. I really like fajita seasoning. That's why I call this Southwestern rice instead of Spanish rice, because this goes so well with my tacos and fajitas. I eat fajitas all the time. So I'm going to put in a couple tablespoons of this fajita seasoning, and we're just going to stir this around. Wow, it smells really good. Put a little bit more. That was 3 tablespoons of fajita seasoning. And we're just going to bring this up to a boil. And when it comes to a boil, we're going to put the lid on and reduce the heat and let the rice steam, soak up all this wonderful flavor, and then we'll take a taste. Okay, so our rice is now up to a boil. You can use the spice that I used in here is my favorite fajita spice. You can use whatever spice you like, and you can spice it as much as you want. I put 3 tablespoons, but you can put anywhere from 1 to 3, whatever you like. So we're going to go ahead and cover this up. We're going to reduce the heat all the way down to the lowest setting on our cooktop here, and we're going to let this go ahead and steam away for about 15 to 20 minutes until the rice has absorbed all the water and it's nice and fluffy. Okay, now it's time to serve it up and take a taste. It looks really good. All the chilies and the tomato. Ooh. It's a little bit sticky, like I like it. And let's take a taste. Wow, it smells really good. Wow. It's really good. A little spicy. My fajita seasoning is a little on the spicy side. The chilies are great. The fire roasted chilies really make this. The onions. It's going to be really good with some fajitas tonight for dinner. If you like this recipe, please subscribe below and visit my website at amylearnstocook.com. I'm also on Twitter at twitter.com/amylearnstocook.